Do you ever feel like weight loss is just a hopeless endeavor? Where you try diet after diet, you feel like a failure all the time, you never get the results that you're looking for, and you just wind up hating your life for years and years on end because you just cannot figure out how to lose weight. And that is exactly the problem I was facing that led me to the question, can I find a way to lose weight without hating my life? Because generally speaking, you try a new diet plan, you try a new diet program, and what happens? You absolutely hate it. You can't stick with it. It just doesn't seem to fit into your life at all. So we need to find a way to fix this issue. So that led me into research mode where I was like, okay, what are the main issues that I'm facing and how can I fix them? So as I started to watch videos and read information and look at case studies and whatnot, I found three main issues with the health industry and the way that they're teaching. The first one is calorie counting. Now, calorie counting isn't necessarily a problem in that it will not allow you to lose weight, because if you count calories, you will likely lose weight. The problem is it gets you to focus purely on a number, and oftentimes you wind up cutting out all the wrong foods from your diet, which leads you to any number of issues. The first one being you cut your favorite foods, which generally leads to food obsession and binge eating. I have never craved frosting more than when I'm on a diet. It's amazing to me how I can be on a really strict diet and all I want to do is just grab a tub of frosting and eat the whole thing. Whereas when I'm not dieting, that's never even something that enters my mind. And this is something that many, many, many people have experienced. I'd say all people have experienced on a diet. And that is the big issue with counting calories and cutting foods out of your diet. So that's not at all the way that I would recommend going now. And this is generally a conclusion that anybody who's had to lose weight comes to eventually, where it's like, you need to learn moderation. And how annoying is that phrase? But another part that's really, really challenging for people is they have all these diets out there that people are presenting where they're like, this is a new weight loss program, that are completely unsustainable. 45 minutes of hard cardio in the morning every day that doesn't fit into your life is not something you're going to be able to do all the time for the rest of ever. It doesn't make sense to input that into your life right now at that high of a level at 45 minutes every single day when it doesn't actually fit into anything going on in your life. Instead, you need to start small, you need to have small numbers, so on and so forth. So the unsustainability of these things is a major issue that we face when it comes to weight loss. So then the question becomes, well, if these aren't the ways to go, and these are the things everybody teaches, what should we be doing instead? Have you ever had somebody tell you that you just need to learn to eat in moderation? And you're kind of thinking to yourself, if I knew how to do that, I wouldn't be fat. Because this is one of the most useless pieces of advice that we get, and yet it is so vital to actually maintaining weight loss. And the reason for this is because we still want to participate in family events. We don't want to be the odd one out who doesn't do any of the thing that anybody else does. We still want to have a piece of birthday cake at our daughter's party. We still want to be able to go and attend Christmas dinner with our families, because these are really important bonding events in our lives, and our social environment is hugely important to our health, and we know it on an intrinsic level. So rather than trying to figure out how to moderate this, I have a plan for you, which starts with the basic question: how likely are you to eat an entire birthday cake if you're already full before you start? And I'd say you're very unlikely to eat that entire birthday cake. Why? Because you don't have a whole lot of room to put it in. So that's what we need to do. We need to pre-fill our stomachs. And the way to do that is just with two things. Now, one you probably know about, it's been told you all your life, and the other one you may not know about so much. But we're going to start with the one that you do know, which is, have your parents ever told you that you need to eat your vegetables before you get dessert? My guess would be yes. Most of us have had parents who said things like this. Why do they say that? Because vegetables are highly nutritious, very low calorie. So if you start getting more vegetables into your diet, you are naturally going to start eating fewer calories. That's a win when it comes to losing weight. So if you can start increasing your vegetable intake and getting, say, 2 servings of vegetables before every meal, more than likely you're going to cut out the less healthful foods, and that's going to make a big difference in your progress. Now, the second thing that you probably don't know that you need particularly well is protein. How much protein do you get on a daily basis? Because what I didn't realize before I started understanding protein and the value it has on our body is that I actually needed to eat about 8 times as much protein as I was eating. I was getting about 20 grams of protein every single day. Turns out I need to be getting about 160 grams of protein. The best way to find this is to look at your BMI chart, figure out what your healthful weight is, and then go to the far end of that amount. That's where you should be getting your protein number from. For me, that's 160 grams because the ideal weight for my body at the high end is 160 pounds. So getting that much protein, very good for you. Now, protein makes a really big difference in satiation. It also revs up your metabolism, and it's hugely important in the repairing of your tissues and your body and your bones and muscles and things like that. So you really don't want to skimp out on it. But the big reason you want to get more protein is because it will repair and rev up your muscle mass. And muscle burns 3 to 4 times more calories per pound than fat does. So if you want to lose weight, upping your protein is going to be a really big part of that. Did you know that most people who are overweight are also malnourished? And how well do you think your metabolism is going to function if your body isn't functioning properly? That's a question that I had to confront, and this is one of the main reasons why it's super important to fill in our nutrition gaps. The way that we know we have nutrition gaps, we have excess fat on our bodies. It's amazing what that indicates. It indicates actually 3 things: that you are malnourished, that you're insulin resistant, and that you're leptin resistant. And all 3 of these things actually contribute to your fat gain. So if we want to fix this, we have to make sure our bodies are getting the proper nutrition. And that's why it's super important to get your vitamins in. Now, I recommend 3 vitamins. None of these are crazy insane in what you're taking, but these are things people often don't take because they feel they're kind of expensive. But where you get your supplements is also super important. So I do definitely recommend the 3 I have in the description, but hey, do what you see fit. So the first thing that I recommend is a multivitamin. Now, the multivitamin I recommend is a phytonutrient multivitamin. So it's kind of like taking a shot of vegetables. You get most of the benefits that you're missing from your vegetables in one pill that you can easily fit into your day. The second thing I recommend is omegas. And you can see on the screen the benefits of taking omegas, but the big part of this is it's kind of like keeping your body running. It's kind of like putting oil in your car. Without it, things just don't function properly. So getting those omegas in, very, very helpful. The next thing that I recommend is vitamin D. You're pretty much going to hear this from doctors across the board. We do not get enough sunlight. We do not get enough nutrients from our food. So taking vitamin D is going to have a big impact, and you can see the benefits on the screen here too. These are the 3 vitamins I recommend. They're going to fill in those nutrition gaps, and that's going to help your body function properly, which then allows you to boost your metabolism so that you can start losing the weight that you want to lose. Did you know that cardio is actually one of the worst exercises for weight loss? It's kind of interesting that most of the programs teach you to do kind of intense cardio like extreme dance aerobics or HIIT exercises. But generally speaking, this is not the best form of exercise for weight loss because it burns carbohydrates. And when you run out of carbohydrates to burn, your body then craves more of them. So essentially, these exercises make you hungrier, which is kind of the opposite of what you're going for when you're trying to lose weight. So when it comes to the best exercises for fat loss, you actually have 2 you want to focus on. The first one is strength training, and this is something that I personally did not like hearing when I was looking into this information. But essentially what happens when you strength train is you build up your muscle mass, which builds your muscle, which burns 3 to 4 times more calories than your fat cells. So if you can increase the amount of muscle you have on your body, you increase your metabolism, which ultimately benefits you and leads to better fat loss. But the other form of exercise you want to focus on is things like walking and biking. They're called low impact steady state cardio type of exercises where you're still burning calories because you're moving your body, but you're doing so at a slower rate so your body can actually dig into your fat stores rather than just burn the extra energy that's in your muscles already. So you don't wind up at the end of these exercises feeling depleted and starving for carbohydrates to replenish your system because your body isn't relying on those things to burn calories and get you moving in the first place. So generally speaking, upping the amount you walk and increasing the amount of times you do things like lifting weights or wall sits or planks or whatever, those are the things you need to focus on to get you the results that you're looking for. But of course, when it comes to losing weight, physical steps can only do so much. More often than not, we quit because of what's going on in our heads. So if you want to find the best way that you can actually get past the mental hangups and improve your chances of actually losing weight and getting the body of your dreams, make sure to watch this video next to get all the information that you need.